Hello. As promised, my next video, today I am making easy Nutella Scrolls. Pretty much this dough recipe can be used for anything you want. Cheese and spinach scrolls, some sujuk and roasted capsicum, or even as basic as Vegemite scrolls as well. The same dough applies for all those recipes. So here we go. Here I have my flour, straight into the mixing bowl. I've got my yeast, straight in, baking powder, and yes, don't stress, the recipe will be posted at the end of this. Salt, bit of sugar, and at the moment we're going to give this just a quick swirl, and to this I'm going to add my oil and warm water. Please remember, do not put hot water in there, it will kill the yeast. It has to be warm, so warm enough just to get your finger in there. This here, my dear, is a dough hook. A lot of people use different parts of the machine, but make sure you use a dough hook for dough. That's kind of the name that it's given, dough hook. And don't worry, I've made that same mistake before I started cooking. Okay, so now what you're going to do is start on a low speed, build it up to a medium, then a high speed, and give it a good 5 minutes of kneading before stopping the machine. Okay, the best tip I find, once you get the dough out, so I'm going to hook off, get all this down, you don't want to waste any of it. Now if you take a look here, you've got this beautiful soft dough. So it only takes 5 minutes in the machine to do. If you want to knead by hand, give it a good 10 minutes with kneading by hand. Now another trick is also the leftover oil in your plate, pop the dough in there, give it a bit of a swirl. You want to use that oil because once it's going to prove, it will stop it from sticking to the edge of the bowl. Pop the dough straight back in there. We're going to cover this with cling wrap and allow it to rest for half an hour. So here I have the bowl, which we've got the dough in. And as you can see, it's approved by double the size. So this has only been resting for half an hour. So it's still nice and soft. And now what we're going to do, once I move that out of the way, is roll it out. If you find your dough is still a bit wet, you can sprinkle a little bit of flour, but it shouldn't be wet. It should be just fine. So now what you want to do is roll it out, but more in length instead of width. And don't be stressed if it's not even and all perfect like what chefs do. It'll still work. So roll this out. This dough's nice and soft, so you won't need to put too much elbow grease into it, that's for sure. Our amazing Nutella over here. You melt this up in the microwave just a little bit, I'd say around 30 seconds, and pour it straight on. So this jar of Nutella is a, how many grams? 750 gram jar. You'll make 3 lots of this recipe from it if you wanted. So spread this on. You want to bring it down to the bottom edge of the dough because this is going to be the center part here. Now be generous, but not too generous where it's going to overflow and flood the whole bench. And you want to keep just a little bit on this edge, which is going to seal the dough once you roll it up. Leave it with no Nutella. Okay, so now the fun part, to roll it up. Just flick the edge, as you can see. And this is the part that I was talking about of not overfilling the Nutella, but who can help themselves with Nutella? Just keep flicking the edge. And over it goes. So I seal these bottom bits here just to help with the cutting process. So now it depends on the size you want. Start with 1 inch thickness, and then if you decide in future you want it bigger, go bigger. It depends on what you prefer, but I think 1 inch is enough. So cut it straight through, and as you can tell, I don't know, 1 inch. Every single one is different. Now what you're going to do is when we go to pop it into the tray, give it a small squish and put it straight into the tray. Now I do rows of 3s depending on the size of your tray, and you don't want it to be too close together either because it will, once again, we're going to allow it to rest and it'll prove to double its size. So now we're going to pop this on the side to go double in size. So that's been roughly half an hour. We're going to pop this in the oven on 180 degrees until it's nice and golden on the outside. Okay, so these are out the oven now. They are a little hot, but all done. My Nutella Scrolls. Huh. Hot. Now don't do that at home when it first comes out the oven.